મળ્યા હતા જે નાણાં તમને ભૂમિ મહીન દટાવ્યા રે.
મળ્યા હતા જે નાણાં તમને ભૂમિ મહીન દટાવ્યા રે.
તમે બેવડા કર્યા તમે તો 5 ગણા કરી લાવ્યા રે.
It was Father Arellano, who was the provincial, and he's the one who appointed about 70 of us at different times from the province of Loyola. At that time it was called Castilla Oriental. And then we were asked, at that time Father Arrupe, who has been in Japan, was trying to invite persons to offer themselves to go to Japan. And one of my companions had asked for it and showed me the letter. So I thought that I will do the same. And I went to the provincial and I told him I would like to apply for this Japan, to be there and work there. So he says, would you like to go to, we have got a very new and good mission in India called Gujarat. Would you like to go there? Then I said, if you tell me, I'll go there instead of going to Japan. So he accepted it. Next day he made it public that I was appointed to come to India. And then, okay, at that time, we didn't get the visa very fast, so we had to wait for a couple of months or so. We missed, me and my companion. We were three in the same boat. And then we came by boat, which was most, at that time there was the passenger boat, were very good. And there were several coming from France, Bombay, etc., and going to Indonesia. And then this one was also doing like that, going to Sri Lanka, up to Sri Lanka, from Bombay, etc. From Gibraltar, we were this, and took about 12 days to reach to Bombay, stopping on the roads on several ports. As first of all, it was Port Said in Egypt. Then we came to Aden, passing the Suez Canal, and then through the Red Sea. And in the Red Sea, it was a big storm. So the boat was up and down and up. And I remember that I wanted to see the waves, and I went completely up to the dock, but some of the crew came immediately like that, says, hey, come down because a wave can come and take you out. So I had to go down. From down, he locked that in. And it was a very stormy time, so we all were dancing. And I remember that I was one of those who were more brave, or I don't know what to say. I enjoyed the journey, and I liked it because my place is not at all a sea port. On the contrary, it's very much interior. So I had hardly seen the sea also. And this time I had a good time. So I always have said it was perhaps the best holidays that I had. They were the journey from Spain to Bombay. But it was a tremendous contrast because before leaving my place, I went to say goodbye from the novitiate, and then it was 22 less, minus 22. And at Bombay it was 30 grades, so imagine the difference. 30 was 50 grades difference, so it was tremendous contrast. But we were told from the novitiate that whenever you are in the room, you should lock it. So lock means close the door and the windows. So I was used to that, we were used to that. So we went to Bombay, we didn't say anything. We closed all the windows and doors. At night, it was so suffocating that we had a tremendous, very, very tough experience with a contrast of 50 degrees, imagine 50 degrees about, from Spain to Bombay in only 12 days. That is one of my experience. Second is that we arrived in Bombay on the 6th of April, that happened to be Easter that day. And there was no place to board, to dock the ship, so we had to go on high sea. And there we celebrated Easter. The ship was a Polish one. They were communists at that time. So some of the officers, they were Catholic. They passed through the place where we were they celebrating the Mass. And then they would make if they would see if there is no any officer or something like that, they would make this reverence and go ahead, because they were very much afraid of the communist regime that was at the time dominating Poland. So that was my first experience, the tremendous contrast. Then after, of course, after a few days in Bombay, we came to Gujarat by train. And of course we didn't know anything in Gujarat. So I remember that somebody was passing the train offering cha-cha. It was cha-cha-bara. I understood cha-ra-ra-ra-ra, nothing else. And I came and I told one of the brothers here, what is cha-ra-ra-ra? Cha-ra-ra? Where did you hear that? I said, in the train. They were passing with this kitli and then saying cha-ra-ra. Cha-ra-ra, na cha-cha-bara. I say, yes, cha-cha-bara, okay. So that was a contrast of the tongue, of the language also. Well, okay, we arrived in Bombay, here in Anand, and we were lodged in all business because there was no place for all of us. So I remember one of the things, I had also studied some medicine, means for infirmarian. And therefore they charged me of the dispensary here. And there was no other place, so they gave me the same place as a room for me. And I remember that at night there was a lot of noise on the roof. What is that? I asked him. He says, don't worry, he says, they are rats, but they will not do anything. Now to hear in my roof rats running, imagine. Okay, so next day I said, I'll go out. So I went out to sleep outside, as there were many people doing, because of the heat. And I remember at midnight I heard something under my pillow. I lifted one rat, I think, jumped out. This is very, very tough beginning. But anyhow, I was used to that, as all of us were used. Then after some time, we started studying the Gujarati language here itself. And this was actually, this house, only this wing, was built already new, soon after we came, as the language school. So the people coming from Spain or anywhere else, they were coming here to learn the language. Actually, even people from Kerala who had started coming and all that, they were also here to learn the language. So it was called, not the St. James, but it was not attached at that time to the school, because the school was in the other side. So it was a special wing built only for the language school. So we attended here, started the Gujarati language, especially with Father Valles, who died 2-3 days ago. He was with us in the first group here, studying Gujarati. The only difference was that within a very short time he went so fast that overtook all of us, and we remained there just with our kaka gaga. Anyhow, so that is experience. I adapted rather well to the climate once we knew that we could keep everything open and all that. Well, we adapted. But it was more difficult was the language, of course. The language we had not very much, but about 2 or 3 months we studied the basics of the Gujarati language. And then talking with the people, we learned the rest. So we have never learned really good Gujarati, never. It has been pending. One of our crosses has been the language, that we talk, perhaps talk too much, but never be sure of the especially the verbs or the masculine, feminine, etc. So, but it is good like that, and it is now I think it's about 68 years that I have been in India. I came in 53, and here I am still. So that is all. And since I came for the press, of course I spent most of my life in the press. The last 40 years I was the manager of the press. My 40 years. After that came Father Agnello, now Father Anthony Fitzai. Well, we were prepared, as I told you. We had studied the theme for different departments, and it was not difficult because we were well trained and prepared for that. We had, we had regular and proper training in the best places of that state, of that city, Bilbao, that is in the north of Spain, in the Basque Country. So because Loyola is in the Basque Country, so from there we were sent for that special training once we were appointed. Because Father Espasa, at the time he was the one who started the new press, and he came to Spain to ask the provincial to get some people trained for the press. So we were officially sent to the University of Bilbao, Deusto, one of the best Jesuit universities of Spain, and we were staying there, but we were, for our training, we went to outside presses. So that is how. So we were trained, therefore we didn't find much difficulty. On the contrary, we came and it was easy for us to, the language no, but for the rest, it was easy for us to show our knowledge in that line. So the first 10, 12 years, I was assistant manager, and after 12 years or so, I became the general manager, and I was for 40 years manager of One Press. When I was 75, then I asked the provincial, Kite Braganges, at the time, I asked him to give the thing to Father Agnello, so he accepted it and he gave it to him. From that time, I'm, so to say, retired. I have done some other jobs here. I was minister also for some time, etc. But now I am as I am. We made very good relations, and therefore he was our best customer from the very beginning. Not only he, but all the other institutions like NDDB, National Development Board, the Federation for Selling, etc., Gujarat Cooperative Marketing Federation, all they were very good. So because of Dr. Kurian, all started being our very good clients. So I would say that they were among the best clients that we had. Besides Charotar bookstore, who was printing the books also here, books of mathematics, etc. So we had very good clients. After, well, I had to do whatever I could. Not what I liked, but what I could. As in the Gospel says to St. Peter, no? When you are young, you are doing this and that. When you are old, somebody else will have to do it for you. Brother Manolo was there in Paris also. In one of brothers who died much before, that was Brother Antonio Rabella. So we were four of us. Then besides Brother Nicolas, who died now very, very recently, he was the first manager brother, yes. I took the place from him when he went to Sebasi to build Sebasi. Yes, Brother Antonio Rabella. He was very good artist, yes, he was very good artist. Not only in drawing, but even in carving. The statue that is down of St. James, he was done by him when he was in a school of carving. He was done so, and he was very good. So at that time it was fantastic because we were depending on this kind of art things drawn by him. Even many of the drawings of the Bible were drawn by him, the Gujarati Bible.
મળ્યા હતા જે નાણાં તમને ભૂમિ મહીન દટાવ્યા રે
મળ્યા હતા જે નાણાં તમને ભૂમિ મહીન દટાવ્યા રે
તમે બેવડા કર્યા તમે તો 5 ગણા કરી લાવ્યા રે